Hello, this is Palico Padge, and welcome back to another episode of the Curious Expedition with mods. Oh, that last episode. Oh, it was terrible. It was terrible. It's a very slow death from the episode from before. It was a very slow 11.5 minute death. But hey, sometimes that's how it is. I mean, I could have probably have cut my losses and got back to the boat, but we'd have been so far behind in the fame stakes. It just would have been pointless. We were in last place as it was because of the fluffed up expedition before that. It was just a waste of time. It was death or glory, damn it. And as it turns out, it turned out to be death. But hey, at least that means we get to start another character mod today. And who should it be but... Hang on a sec, gotta press the button. The man with no name. There are those with loaded guns and those who dig. You dig. I dig it. I dig it. So he's got the Lone Survivor perk, survive a little longer when all alone. Tactical Mastery, with an additional re-roll in combat, which is interesting. And Bullet Hoarder. No idea how, but a character with this perk finds a bullet somewhere every couple of days. We're loaded up with a bit of whiskey, some rope, dynamite, and a lovely, lovely gun. And we've got our dog and faithful, faithful donkey along for the ride. I'm sure we'll be okay. I'm sure we'll be okay. If we can survive the first expedition and get to that second expedition where we can start building up the actual group, I'm sure we'll be fine. Well, as it stands, let's crack on, shall we? Welcome back to the Explorers Club, old friend. Have you heard that we are building a statue to honour our most famous member? Word is it that you have a good chance of seeing your likeness on that statue. However, I am afraid to tell you that you are not the only candidate. You and your rivals have 6 expeditions to prove who is the most famous explorer within our club. So we've got Richard Burton, Roald Amundsen, Frederick C. Sellis, and Charles Darwin. Now go explore. Adventure awaits. And again, let's go on for certain death, because if you survive, that's great. If you don't, it's usually pretty interesting to watch. And we get to choose from either the Black Jungle, a golden pyramid can be found in this region. Oh. Or a golden dryland section. A golden pyramid can be found in this region. Oh, I think we should keep the drylands one for later, simply because when we get onto the larger maps, you tend to get to see further without having to use any sort of perks. So the Black Jungle it is. Full of anticipation, I hurried to the harbour. There were still some arrangements to be made, so I sat on the pier and waited. A rich foreigner named Sir Dai Al-Majed introduced himself. He told me that he originated from the area we were heading to before joining an expedition to come to London. He had thereafter settled and invested here, and requested that I find his wife in his former village and escort her to London. I'll do that. I accepted his request and returned his wife. Or to find and return his wife. He nodded thankfully and wished us luck. Good luck! And in comes that majestic boat. From the west to the east. Middle of the region. Opens up quite a bit. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. After another sea shanty and one might jump overboard. Or another sea shanty and one might jump overboard. I can't read today. But thankfully a shoreline rose in the morning mist. The foreign landscape beckoned us to explore. And explore we shall. Thankfully the rich foreigner had indicated the location of his former village on our map. I was curious to see if we would find his beloved there. Oh. Well, that's awfully close. 23. Yeah, let's do it. Let's go do that first. This evening we reached a village. The people here looked like a clan of well-trained warriors. As I observed the tribe, I noticed one woman was somewhat out of place. She was the wife I had been tasked to escort back to London. Without further ado, she happily joined our trek and began to show us around the village. We were guided into the village by a crowd of cheering kids. We seem to be very popular in this region. Well, that's what cowboys do to the kids. Right, do we try and recruit? I mean, I don't mind giving them a bit of dynamite, or even alcohol if I have to. I asked around to find out if some locals were enterprising enough to join my cause. Not long after, I had assembled some volunteers and needed to decide who to recruit. Oh, great, we don't understand a word they're saying. That's going to be fun. So we can have Sobatug, the warrior, or Kuwefu, the animal handler. I mean, the animal handler might come in useful. So we get a standing reputation of what +1, which is great, and an animal capacity of +1, which is even greater. I mean, Lucius doesn't hold anything. Mizraf Bone, And who's our donkey? Mr. Clark. Or Sabotag the warrior. Reduces chance of triggering combat. You know, that in itself is also very useful. You know what? I don't even know what gun... what. Oh, that's nice. That's a nice selection of dice we got there. Bullet order. Tactical mastery. Those warrior. So, I mean, we're going to be finding attack die anyway. But then again, we do have quite a bit of capacity anyway as well. We'll go for the warrior, I think. Yeah, the warrior. Sobatug, the warrior, joined the trek. We felt comfortable in the midst of the overjoyed villagers. Well, let's see what you've got. I mean, we could put the loyalty up of Sobutag straight away, I suppose. How much is it worth? It's a whiskey. It's a whiskey's worth. What about if we did the jewels and another 2 masks? We can make it up with rope. I dig that. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I settled on a trade with the villagers. And with that, let us depart. In a heartbreaking ceremony, I can't even say that, said farewell to her tribe. As we left, she mentioned that she would like to visit a holy shrine in the vicinity to receive a blessing for her travels. She marked the location of the shrine on our map. Corey, that's her name. Corey. Oh, right, that's relatively close. Okay, I'm not too fussed by that then for the time being. We'll hit that on the way back to the boat. It was a wonderful day. I halted our trek and considered a gift a trinket to one of my followers. That's going to Sobotug, isn't it? As a casual ceremony stepped up to Sobotug and gifted her the trinket. That makes no sense. Then I held a short speech about loyalty and friendship as I emphasized the importance of her contribution to this expedition. She was deeply moved by my act. How much does she love me now? Wrong one. Oh, all the way. Boom shakalaka. Well, that's fine by me. I'm not worried about that. Oh, well, we've got something to trade, I suppose, worst case scenario. Let's have a look, see. Do I go through? Oh, it's probably best going through, isn't it? If we sort of do a high loop and then come down the bottom, that probably makes more sense. I've got a sneaking suspicion we might get some alcoholics, though, on this, which wouldn't be good. Oh, I think I know where the pyramid is. It's a cave. We didn't buy any torches. We have only 1 blue dice. Alright, well, here we go. We located a cave. The rocky moor seemed to lead deep into the mountain. We required a torch to uncover its mysteries. Do it. Boom. Didn't even flinch. I was confident. This expedition would not be dejected by lack of torches. He pressed forth and into the eerie gloom. Aside from minor bruises from bumping into each other, we made it without a major incident. I could not tell how long we laboured in the gloom, but eventually we saw a light and endeavoured to reach the source. We found a small cavern scattered with the aftermath of what seemed to be a failed expedition. The few mortal remains were long rotten. All the bones we found had been cracked open and, it seemed, sucked empty of marrow. To our surprise, one of the rotten crates still held some valuable equipment. Oh, bullets, which we're going to get anyway. Custom flares. Alright. And weather balloons. Take it all. Take it all. Alright. So, I mean, let's do it. Oh, it's a trader. Alright, okay. Should we do that again? Oh, and somewhere we can rest. Good to know. If we let off a flare... Oh, bugger. I was hoping we could have got a bit closer. Just about 100% madness. 60% madness. We can just about do it. And we'll get all our sanity up here. Ah, there's our bullets. And then we could probably mount ourselves up on the hill and have a good view of the rest of this region. This waterfall was quite enormous. It was an awe-inspiring sight. The water was fresh and cool. We decided it'd be a good idea to stay here to catch our breath. There was a tense mood as we sat by the campfire. Tonight, Corey had a conversation with someone who was demonstrably not there. That's alright. We're dumping her when we get back to England. That's fine by me. After days of rest, we still enjoyed the rumbling of the falling water. The natural beauty here was breathtaking to behold. Well, let's stay again. We settled down to recuperate. It was a beautiful night, and everyone seemed to enjoy themselves. I kept note of Sobertug's every behavioural quirk and of every piece of clothing and equipment she used. I think at some point she tried asking me to stop, but this work was just too important. She moved so effortlessly through this alien world, whereas I was stumbling over my feet most of the time. Ah, has she only got one eye? It looks like she's only got one eye. Depth perception can be an issue when it comes to getting into fights. After days of rest, we still enjoyed the sparkling effect of the falling water. You know what? We're close enough to 100. As we departed, we noticed that our campfire had set fire to some nearby bushes. Before we knew what had caused it, the fire began to spread out of control. I suspected Corey to be the culprit and urged her to be more careful next time. That's fine. Let's upgrade Sabatug. Nice. And up onto the hill. Right, there's a good chance we're going to lose that question mark. I'm going to go back onto the water and get our sanity back up, I think. The mood was buoyant as I ordered wood to be gathered for a fire. After dinner, I cleansed my compass and noticed that the needle behaved unusually. Perchance a natural magnetic site was interfering with it. Probably. And again. Sobertug came over and sat next to me by the fire. She told me about her experiences of these last few days and swore an oath to support my decisions, no matter what the coming days would hold for us. Good to note. Good to note. And we're done. So, on to this one. Yep, so we've lost that question mark. Couldn't have been that important. Explore. The Golden Pyramid loomed above one and all. Success! I knew I could do it. Now all that was left was surviving the journey back to my vessel. Okie dokie. Let's pop ourselves up on here. I mean, that's quite a fire. Look at it go. Look at it go. Well, yes. Over to this question mark, I suppose. This bleak and ancient place was situated in the midst of a swamp, littered with the remains of long-dead elephants. For some unfathomable reason, hundreds of the impressive animals had come here to die. I was confident we would find something valuable here. We formed small teams and scoured the place. All of the bones were rotten and useless, but we did find something else altogether peculiar instead. Oh, a mysterious egg. Why not? Why not? And can we make it to there? No, we have to eat stuff. How about now? No. 2 of them. Oh, great. Alcoholic straight away. Tip top. I mean, what are we really going to find out? Not a lot, I don't think. Can we make it up to there? 60. Let's get back up to the waterfall. We'll get our sanity back up and then we can hit the trader on the way back. The waterfall was something to behold. It was an awe-inspiring sight. Nature effortlessly demonstrated her elegance and might as one. I instructed the trek to halt and I told the people to rest. Our morale was low as we sat and stared into the campfire. Oh dear. Corey's mental condition had won the upper hand. She was the victim of nightmares that caused her to scream and shout throughout the night. Okay. Bugger. We lost her? Yeah. I woke Corey and asked her to sleep a short distance away from our camp. Alas, something had happened to her while she slept alone in the wilderness. She was gone. Well, okay. Not a lot I could do about that, really. Let's rest again. All this travelling led us to inherently know each other's perks, habits and foibles. We discussed our different childhoods, which awarded me a greater appreciation of my team. Sobertug recalled how she fell into a jagged crevice when she was a child. Well, we'll keep you away from the edges then. Yes, can't be good for the old sanité. And that'll do. So it's 64 to there, 36 to there. We'll go to there. Yeah, it would appear That question mark was burnt up was a pyramid. Not pyramid, a shrine. Which puts us at a little bit of a disadvantage. A roaming merchant caravan had pitched up camp here. The mysteriously dressed trader had a lot of useful goods on offer. Most of them seemed to be the remains of other failed expeditions. He proudly presented us with a selection of his wares. We could not help but think that he had more valuables to sell. Oh. I mean, we could let it rain with the monies. How much do you like them, I suppose, is the question here. Quite a lot. Value of 30. But you like jewels. That's good. That's good. And also, we could probably get rid of the bullets now. Since we've got the marked bullets. I mean, do you like the egg? A little. Although we could probably use the egg. How about the cost and flare? We don't need the cost and flare, and you can have all the bullets. Can I have 2 of them? No. What about the native trinkets? Ooh, we're close. Have a strawberry. Ah, yeah. It's always the strawberry that works. And at least that way we can grab a load of bits for the next expedition. I think that's a fair trade. That'll do. The merchant seemed expectant regarding our possible return to relieve him of stock. Well, he's hoping. We're always hoping. 39. To get to 40 on the way back. Alright, well, we'll probably have to drink a little bit of alcohol, but that's fine. Decreased loyalty because you're a raging alcoholic. So 100%, 40%. Well, we can make it back. Let's get inside the shrine. We arrived at a majestic structure, seemingly a holy shrine to the inhabitants of the region. All manner of plant life grew towards the sun. Grand stairs led up to an enormous doorway. The building was cold to the touch. I wondered if the stone was resistant to warmth or if there was some other explanation. Who knows? Before us lay some kind of ceremonial room. We quietly looked around the majestic hall. We found a stone altar that was covered in ancient writings. Oh, what's that? Shrine pendulum. A peculiar artifact which reacts when being close to a shrine. I mean, not really that useful, but hey ho. Seeing as I like to explore everything and everywhere anyway. What a glorious day! The treasure was to be mine. I stepped into a cold pocket of sorts. Wow, you're super duper vibrating, aren't you? I've lost myself now. The treasure was to be mine. I stepped into a cold pocket of sorts. I could see my own breath crystallize in the air, and every breath was like tiny needles were being jammed into my nose and throat. Oh dear. Well, let's go home, I guess. We've done all we can here. We returned to our ship. Being here almost felt like the safety of home. Well, in which case, let's sail home victoriously, I guess. With all the compiled information on the Golden Pyramid, my work here was done. I judged on what we had gained versus what we had lost. Our vessel set a course for home. I looked forward to sharing the tale of our adventure. After all this hardship, great joy overcame me. I knew that my name, Man with No Name, would be forever remembered. All my stories about the advances of the civilised world had an effect on Subbertug, and she agreed to come back with me. Of course she did. She loves it. For fame and glory! Right, so where did we finish? I tend to not keep an eye on these things. Third. That'll do. That'll do. I can smell the alcohol from here. This is wonderful. Right, so what have we got? We can do detective, improve reveal range, which is actually pretty funky. We've got anthropology. Anthropological studies of indigenous cultures can be created for additional fame. Also pretty useful. Or ruffian receives an additional attack die. Well, the thing is, those anthropological studies are worth 70 fame each, which is very, very useful, especially if there's a fair few villages on a map. I think I want to go for that over being able to see a couple of distance tiles further. I think it makes more sense. So hey ho. Let's become a bookworm. He had a fair amount of gold. That's not good. He had less so. Frederick had a lot of gold. Charles Darwin had lots and lots of gold. Why are they coming up less? I guess they just finished last. Right, so we're going to take the hit here. Simply because if we have lots of funds, it means we're going to be more well equipped for the next expedition. So we're going to sell those and gift that. So we're in a comfortable third, it would appear. And that is where we shall leave this episode. Next time around, we can go to the strange Arctic, where there is one village. Ho, ho, ho. Or we can go to the Guajaja Desert, where there is one village as well. Yeah. There is a portal, though, which is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. But we'll look at it next time around. So, thank you for watching. As always, a like is appreciated. And I'll catch you on the next one. Take it easy.